Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jennifer C. at HomeLifeCultureLink.com, Nino Simeka at MortgageGodfather.ca, and Jewelry Forever at JewelryForever.ca. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
La 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 la. Well, now. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to you all to another beautiful, it's actually a very beautiful day. Or at least it looks like. Get out the window. It's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Toronto for The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. And I'm your host, the one, the only, Scott Dion Brown. And I'm joined, as always, by just the greatest co-host in all the galaxy, the one, the only,
Regine Alaina. Happy Sunday, everyone. And guess what, guys? I finally got, I don't want to spill my coffee, got my sit-down mug.
Yay! That's right. We both got our mugs now, so that's good. Mm-hmm. How was your week there, Regine?
Really sore. So I started this 2-week ab workout challenge that I found on YouTube, and it's literally only 10 minutes a day, but it's intense. So I did one right before the show, so I'm sorry if I go, ugh, because I'm just in pain. Yeah.
That's good.
All those chips caught up to me, so I was like, oh no.
That's inspiring. I have to get my workout back.
It's only 10 minutes a day, and I've seen guys do it. I did a lot of research first on their reviews and stuff of what actually happens within the 2 weeks for men and women. Mm-hmm. And I gotta tell you, it's pretty surprising.
Oh. I went for a walk yesterday, but I went for a long walk. Like, we were gone for like 2.5 hours, and like my legs are sore, so that's something.
Oh.
But I think that's just showing like how out of shape I am right now.
So it happens when you sit and play video games all week.
Yeah, exactly. Who we got in the chat? Who we got? Patrick Rucker. Hey, what's going on, Patrick? Osmic. Hello. Welcome, Osmic. Deathshot. Hey, we might have a house cleaning party soon, so I don't know how long I'll be here. Well, that's productive.
Can you clean my house?
Yeah, when you're done, guys, you can have the house cleaning party at our place as well. All right, well, Deathshot, however long you can stay, I'm glad you made it. Siggi Music is in the chat.
I think we should send him to the studio, because that might need to be cleaned soon.
That's true, yeah. That's true. We might be back there. Well, who knows when? Soonish. Greg Nagara is in the chat. Hey. Fellow bandmate of Siggi Music is here in the chat. Awesome. They Hate Tracks. Hello. Hey, how are you? They Hate Tracks. Welcome to the stream. Maria Brown. Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Brown.
Deathshot says, no, I'm not cleaning anyone's house, unfortunately. Yeah.
Damn, I tried.
We tried. Well, we're happy we're happy you're here, Deathshot. Osmic says, "What's up, Scott? How's your morning?" My morning is good. Honestly, I'm tired. I'm kind of sleepy. The problem is my sleep patterns now are set up that I go to bed really late, and I'm not even usually really up at this time yet. I usually wake up around 11 naturally, but I get up earlier on Sundays to get ready for the sit down. So this is kind of the earliest I get up, which isn't that early, but, that's just the way it is. So I'm kind of tired.
And after every show, all you hear is Scott going, I think I'm going to go back to bed.
That's right. Pretty much every episode ends that way.
Every episode, yeah.
I know. But it's fine. Because you guys all know, most of you in the chat, you guys know why I'm up late, because we play games. We're gaming, guys. We game Monday to Friday, so it's an evening event. Deathshot, I heard a loud bang and then my power went out, so now I'm on data. Oh, that's annoying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that could be what is it? Like not the breaker, or maybe it is the breaker, or like one of those transformers, like from outside. Maybe one of those went down. I think that can make a loud bang. Their death shot. But hopefully it comes back soon. Regine, should we meet our guest?
Why do we have to meet our guest? And this is his like 4th or 5th time on the show.
That's true. I think. Now we were talking about this, I think, before, but he's, if not the most frequent guest on the show, he's definitely.
He
like,
is now.
tied. He is now with this appearance.
Now. Yes, because actually no, I don't know how many times has Garson been on the show, because he was on when I was in the Philippines, but then Siggi was also on before I went to the Philippines, and now Siggi's back on. So,
yeah. That's a tough
Garson,
one.
if you're watching this, let us know how many times have you been on the show, because now it's literally a tie between the two of them, but this could be the tiebreaker.
This could be the tiebreaker. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is a very talented musician, singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. He plays the guitar, he plays the drums, he sings, and probably other. You play the piano a little bit too, right? Do you play the piano?
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
He can hear you. Okay, hang on. I haven't shown them you yet. I didn't show them who he is yet. Hang on. So anyway, I should probably not ask him questions while I'm reading his intro or saying his intro. Okay, multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter, really,
plenty.
yeah, very good friend of mine as well, and fellow bandmate. He's the lead singer and creative force behind the group Siggi Music, of which I am also a member. I'm the keyboard player. Ladies and gentlemen, and his new single, The Scream, has just been released. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the sit down, Siggi.
Hey guys. Hey, happy Sunday to all. Thank you guys for having me over, as always. Siggi. So am I the most, I've been there so many times that I'm now the reigning champ of guests.
I know. I really want to calculate this while you guys are talking and figure out how many times Siggi has actually been on our show.
You know what? It is always a pleasure, because beside the quarantine, it's nice to touch bases with you guys, and also, kind of talk to your followers and all of our followers, whatever is happening in my life right now and your life right now.
What is happening in your life? Because you kind of had a social media break, and then all of a sudden you come back and you're promoting your new song. So what's up, Siggi?
Well, this quarantine kind of probably hit us all kind of unexpectedly, and for some hard. I found that, this is Canada. It's been great for this, though. We got all the help after they closed down, the whole country. So I was able actually to stay home and work on, pre-plan my future.
Nice.
Music is a tough business, but also every business is tough until you kind of focus on what are your goals and how to pursue them properly. So I kind of took the chance to work on a plan, and I'm really grateful for that. And even though it's a tough situation for all of us, or it's been, it could have been worse. That's the way I look at it, at least. It could be fighting a war, but we're not. So we can stay home and, as you were saying, kind of train and do your exercises. It's part of the journey, I guess. And you have to pay attention to your body, to your mind, before everything else. So that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. Yeah, we've talked about it before on the show, in that, it's a crazy, messed up time we're going through, but this is kind of the best time in, history to be going through it, because like in our case, we're able to, with the internet and stuff, we're still able to keep in contact with each other. We're still able to, like Regine and I, we've been able to continue doing the show, which is something that, just wouldn't have been
Fantastic.
An option. So, yeah, it's a crazy time, but I'm glad that, we have all this technology that makes it, easier. And then, yeah, that's a good point you bring up. I mean, we're fortunate to be living in this part of the world and all that stuff, because it just makes it easier.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. I've had, beside relatives in Italy and people and friends.
Oh yeah.
They've been through not only the worst cases and the majority of cases, but also the government that wasn't able to help them even monetary wise. So I'm sure that this wasn't good for a lot of people. So that's the way I choose to look at it, in a way where it could have been worse. You know what I mean? So, and training, exercising your mind. I still think that it's the most important thing you can do. So that's why to get back to the point of Instagram and social medias, they're great. It's a double switch sword, and I always thought so, because we have it, and so we can spread awareness, we can spread positive messages, but obviously not everybody comes to a good place, so you might have not real facts and all of that. But in times like this, where things like whatever is happening in America right now, and we can see what's happening, we can judge the situation objectively, and either we can take part of it or not. We have this opportunity. As you were saying, Scott, like if this happened 40 years ago, there probably was no chance for people to stay in contact, and it would have been way worse.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this allows us to stay connected. I mean, we were talking right before the show went on. I mean, it's so weird because you and I, we play, in the band together. And
don't you
and
see
even
each other every Monday?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
We used to.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like how Regine and I, we used to see each other, at least
Every
once
Sunday.
a week, every Sunday. And then my other part of that routine was seeing Siggi and Greg, who's in the chat, and Garson and
Hey,
Mike
Greg.
and Holly, all those guys. Yeah, exactly. We used to see each other all the time, and then on top of the rehearsals, you're playing shows, and suddenly, very much kind of without warning, it was like that all just stopped, It just we smashed into a wall with it. But so that's why it's nice. Like, we've been messaging each other as a group and stuff, but we haven't really gotten to actually speak. This is kind of our first time speaking to each other, right?
Yeah, in probably 2.5 months. So it's pleasant, obviously, but also refreshing to see that not only you guys stayed active, but a lot of people stayed active and didn't take it as a hit or a hard hit on their creativity and their social media. So I haven't been posting that much, and as you said, I came up with a new single from the Human Touch concept album. The first video that I actually worked on myself, and I took the challenge just because
Scott wasn't available.
Just kind
no
of
kidding.
No, I mean quarantine times, so you have to adjust. And that's how I did it. I mean, we had a whole different plan for how the screen video was gonna be like, but at the end of the day, if you are happy with what you did, then that's it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty happy of the way it came out, and this period is just giving me more insights of how I want to keep going with music in a city like Toronto, which is full of talent. As probably any city. I mean, talent is everywhere, but mostly we're limited by our own fears, our own insecurities. For example, my insecurity was, one of my insecurities was always the audio situation or the audio interfaces and how to record. Just the way actually we meet Scott. See, I needed somebody to record me because I didn't know absolutely anything about it. And I've been in the music for so many years. So one of the big things that changed right now is that I'm actually investing on a studio.
Wow.
And beside the money that you can spend on it, that's relative. Money comes and goes, you know what I mean? I don't think the money are meant to be kept safe. I see it like the sea, it comes and goes, and the more you spend, the more it comes back if you spend with intention. So it's not about the money; it's about obviously investment and on myself for the first time. So I'm learning about EQs, frequencies. I'm kind of taking courses online about it, and I'm also I kind of have a schedule now. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I do different instruments. So I might do a full guitar course on a day, and then a bass course, and then a keyboard
awesome.
course. And then I already have the drum kind of base to start working on my skills there as well. But I don't know if it kind of transparent, like the message is at least the way I do it is work on yourself first. And not in a selfish way, obviously, because one of the things that I miss the most is to jam with you guys, you know what I mean? Obviously. It's about the people, it's the warmth of a room and being all together, experiencing the music. So obviously that's a big factor. But also how to pursue your career. Like we live in a beautiful age where we can record ourselves. We can develop that skill. And you've been doing it for so many years, Scott. And I think it's time for me to start that. So I'm working on a full-length album.
Scott, you're fired.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. But I think it's a challenging part because every song that Scott produced has its own soul in it. Mm-hmm. The way he sees things, frequencies, and audio and adjustments. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about it. It can be your own personal thing, your voice. And when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, well I was just gonna say that's awesome. Like I think that's such a good use of your time. And like I was so again because we haven't been able to speak. When I saw the screen just came out, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Here it is, and it sounded so good, and the video was so cool. I did want to ask. There's like you should probably shout him out. There was like you had an animator or somebody work on it, or like an artist.
Yes.
Creating some visuals in there.
Yes. So his name is Rahman Jafari. And you can find him on Instagram and platforms. He's a very well-renowned artist, actually, in Hamburg, in Germany. And because of the social distancing, I was, looking for inspirations. And we kind of found each other in a way. And it started like me asking him, hey, listen, I want to credit you. I would like to use these animations that you already have. And since I respect arts, like I don't want to do it for free. Or as he mentioned, there are a lot of people out that they would take your stuff and not even credit you. So I couldn't believe that. But anyway, so I talked to him about that. And then he kind of told me that, it's worth to have this contact for a future project. And then we ended up talking about a cover art. So he did the cover art as well. So everything is kind of homemade from him. And now he's actually very, he's working on his social medias about, spreading awareness. So he's very, very dedicated on that right now. So it's a good shout out. I know that the single came out in a very, in a different period as it was before. So many people told me, oh, you shouldn't be posting your things. You should be more respectful. Or you should be, or the opposite. You should just do what you do. I think that the truth is always in the middle. So I had this. I wanted to release a new thing on my end without even too much caring about making it selfish, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, just stop what you're doing and listen to what I'm doing. I think that the screen kind of transmits or tells a story about what the usage of the screens. Like I said, it's a double switch source where we can have a beautiful experience of it. We can talk like this, but you can also find yourself on a couch scrolling YouTube for 4 hours, you know what I mean? So, and that could be counterproductive if you're not studying something specific. And I thought that this argument is something that really includes all of us, because I found myself, I try to read as much as possible. I try to stay active mentally and physically, because I also started a workout, it's part of it.
Yay!
I mean, it's, like you said, it's 10 minutes. So what is 10 minutes out of a day? You know what I mean?
That's a few scrolls on your phone.
That's a few, exactly. And so, but the bottom line is that I thought that it wasn't going to be damaging anything, because as many people texted me afterwards, it's a message that it's very real. So it wasn't something. And then, by the way, the concept of human touch now, it's more kind of, since we're in quarantine, it's more funny than ever because we really miss human touch anyway.
That's true.
So I think that the album is gonna come out in a period where it really kind of makes sense, and that's the way I thought of it.
Yeah, I think it'll almost allow people to interpret it in a way that maybe they couldn't have before all these things started happening. So it's interesting. It's going to have an effect for sure. It's pretty cool. People in the chat. Mike Brown, good morning, kids. Have a great show. Welcome back, Siggi.
Love him.
Patrick Rucker, hello, welcome back. I'm glad you made it back. Death Shot says, I bet working on music got harder with this whole COVID thing.
Well, what's your take on?
Oh no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I think it requires, the only difference is from you going to some place to learn stuff or to be doing stuff. Let's suppose, let's meet up in this place for 2 hours. It gets you in a state where you have to go somewhere. So it puts you in a state where you're now able to focus for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. But when you're home, you're constantly pulled internally. Like, maybe I want to play right now, and then I want to watch Netflix, and then I want to do this, and then you find yourself play video games. So whatever it is, you're constantly kind of pull the left and right, and that damages your focus. But if you can overpass that and schedule yourself in a very relaxed way, like if you tell yourself, I'm gonna start tomorrow, I'm gonna do this for 3 hours a day, you're probably not gonna do it. You're probably gonna start and then stop and then not be consistent with it. But if you say to yourself, I'm gonna do this for 2 minutes, okay, 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. Even exercise, you could apply this rule, the 2-minute rule, everywhere. For example, you say to yourself, you know what, I wanna work out, let's do it, 2 minutes. And so by Isaac Newton's rule, things in motion stay in motion. So maybe you're doing your push-ups for 2 minutes. You're like, let me go for 2 more. Let me go for 3 more. And then it's always better 4 minutes than 0 minutes. And so that way you develop kind of a schedule, or at least you develop consistency, which is the most important thing. So for the production of music, I apply the same thing. I don't need to be spending 8 hours in front of the screen if I don't want to. But 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes might lead me to work on it for 6 hours without any thought. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually really good advice to sort of be more productive, because that's one thing I found I've mentioned on the show before is because we're in this situation where there's very little reason to do, I don't have to be at this place at this time, I don't have to be at this place at this time. It's very easy to kind of just lay back and let it go, and it's really I have found myself battling against that, where sometimes the day will just slip away, and it's interesting hearing the line in your song, where did my day go, because it is like that. It's wow, okay, it's just it's 9 o'clock at night already, okay, all right. So it's one of those situations. Greg Nagara. Yeah, Greg says Siggi is one of the most proficient huggers I know. This must be killing him.
He's right. I'm a big hugger. I think I might have to adjust after all this. I mean, there's a lot of people around that they act like. We went out. I mean, I try to stay home as much as possible. Sometimes you go, do your grocery, be respectful and safe. But there are some people you see around, they just hug each other and they don't care. So, I mean, I think it's, at the end of the day, it's always objective, no? I intend to keep hugging. And if
you do, Siggi.
Exactly. If the other person allows me, then I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, eventually things will go back to normal. What did they just announce now? So before we couldn't be in gatherings of more than 5 people, and they said we had to social distance in those gatherings. But I think now in Ontario anyway, they've upped the number to 10, and they said that the social distancing isn't required anymore, which is interesting.
Well, the numbers have gone down. Drastically. So the fact that they're able to open up like churches and places of worship is also looking good. I know up north, so Barrie and other places, hairdressers are now open, restaurants, patios are opening up. So Siggi, you get to hug people soon.
It's beautiful. I mean, human contact is beautiful as always. But I'm afraid. Not afraid, it's not the right word, but I know that this thing is going to have consequences in some ways. So it really is up to us to either care or not care at the end of the day. And I'll decide to whenever a situation happens, if you feel like hugging somebody, just try, and then if they go then you'll know why. So you can't even blame them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I know me personally, it's going to take me a while to, I know they've, for example, I just heard that they've raised the number to 10, oh, okay, great. But I don't think I'm quite ready to dive back into social gatherings again, even if the rules allow it. I mean, I'm just, I don't know. I'm not even sure.
You're cautious.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sure what's going to have to happen for me to feel, completely normal again.
You know what it is? I know what to do. Siggi, you just go to Scott, give him a big hug, and then fine. Yeah,
we're just gonna
just hug it out.
We're just gonna shock that kind of worry.
Exactly. Hug it out of him.
No, I mean, I feel the same way. At the beginning of all this, I wasn't serious about it myself. And then my boss called me, hey, we might need to close a couple, because I still work. To pursue music, there are a few ways. Either you afford it, you might afford not to have a job and do your music, which it will be fantastic. But I still manage a restaurant here downtown. So, I mean, I just work in the morning. I kind of keeps my feet on the ground as well. Let me tell you that. I mean, a job where you have to talk to people, to supply, to keep things and manage things helps me with my career as well. And managing my own schedules. So I still have that job. And when my boss called me, it was like, hey, we might need to close a couple weeks. I was like, hey, 2 weeks vacation, you know what I mean? But then it became
this pandemic,
absurd all of a sudden. And there's really nothing that you can do about it beside, like we said, working on yourself. The way you are going to interact afterwards, the way you use your days, everything plays a major factor for your career. So even though you might not have a direction day one or week 1 or week 2, week 3, maybe this quarantine will give you an insight of what you can actually accomplish afterwards, which is so important.
Yeah. Well, it's allowed me to, I've already decided that, when I come out of this other end of the quarantine, my short film will be finished. So I've been working on that.
How close are you to finishing it?
It's hard to tell because, so the biggest problem with this movie that I'm editing is there were a lot of parts that we shot that were improvised, because there's a whole bunch of sequences where we're just trying to show the characters existing in this space. So we shot a lot of stuff that it could be in the movie or it could be not in the movie, and that's the hardest part, because I have to go through and make all these decisions oh, that's a good take, but do I need it? And so it's getting close, but there's a lot to do. Patrick Rucker says Siggi is the best of the best. Oh, I agree there, Patrick.
Patrick, thank you so much, man. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the kind words.
Also, all of you guys tuning in, so we're here with Siggi, singer-songwriter. Guys, if you have any questions for Siggi about music or anything, that stuff, please ask away in the chat. But I think maybe, why don't we, we have a little bit of the screen queued up. We're going to play about 30 seconds of it, so do you want to show the people the music?
Yes.
All right.
Is that really a question?
I don't know. So here's a little preview of, and is the song right now, is it on, where can people find it? I know it's on YouTube. Is it on other places as well?
As it is right now, if you type Siggi Music on Google, it will come out anywhere. So
Wow.
it's
Perfect.
I've actually had a little also one of the things that made me question some of the things I was doing. It was my name exactly, because I'm Daniel Sigismondi, so that's why Siggi. So Siggi is actually me.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So because it's kind of difficult to pronounce properly, so I decided to cut it out and make it into Siggi. But if you type Siggi, there's this guy from Iceland that has these yogurts,
Oh.
and he's huge. You know what I mean? So there was no way for me to pop out on a Google research if I stayed Siggi. So I'm slowly changing everything into Siggi
Siggi
Music,
Music.
one word.
Okay.
So if you type Siggi Music, one word, everything comes out. And if you type Siggi, the screen also comes up.
We'll find the yogurt man.
Really though, you try. It's huge.
I'm gonna do it right now. While your music plays, I'll search for
There
it.
you go, Iceland.
All right, so here's a little preview of The Screen by Siggi Music, not the yogurt, the artist. Siggi Music. Here it is. A
But
little
there's only
preview
one.
of. Yeah, there's only one, exactly. Little preview of The Screen. Check it out.
I wonder what color are your eyes, and if you can get caught by surprise. Get onto your feet, walking down the street. Can it be such a need? 'Cause everybody's always on their phones. I don't want get political. I'm here to say you never have the time, oh my friend. You ask yourself, where did my day go? It's beyond the screen. Where did my day go? It's beyond the screen. Ooh, night.
And that was a little preview of The Screen by
Like-
Siggi Music. And Patrick Rucker says this music is awesome.
It is.
Oh, I
does.
love to hear. It's first of all, it's recorded at Desert Fish Studio in Toronto by Jeff Wolpert, which is almost an icon here. He teaches at the university, and also he worked with James Brown, Aretha Franklin in the 80s.
Wow.
Such a good repertoire, and he's great. So I've been working with him on Human Touch for a while now, which is coming up this year. Actually, this year will be probably my most prolific year, because I'm not only releasing Human Touch, which is this 5 songs recorded entirely in studio and with a meaningful message to it, and that links all the tunes. But also we released a new, fresh electronic feel EP. So I'm very excited about the future and all the decisions that you can make about a career like music, which
That's
leaves
awesome.
you. Yeah, it's a lot of insecurities as well. So musicians tend to kind of show themselves as this power with no cracks, but I feel the musicians are full of cracks in a way, and that what makes the music real, and you can associate with lyrics, and when there's a deeper message, I feel that's the way I actually wanna treat it. It's whatever it is, as long as you're objectively honest with yourself, your credentials, and the message, then you're good. You should feel happy about it.
Awesome.
And
Well,
the screen is one.
the screen is one of them. Yeah, it's going to be. It's an exciting year. I'm looking forward to hearing. I mean, I will say you're a really, really great songwriter. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes, and I love seeing how the sound. I can tell how you're crafting it, and like you're modifying it, and kind of, growing as an artist. It's really cool to be a part of, Siggi. I'll say that.
Thank you so much, man. But you've been there since day zero, not even day one. And there are some songs we've been playing for 2 years that I'm still changing, that I'm still working on, because something that you say 3 years ago. So think about this, like maybe it could be an opinion, like you have an opinion about a certain thing, and this dates 3 years ago. Then today you might agree with that same opinion, but you would phrase it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way I see music, because once it's recorded, it's recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can go back to that. And that's a statement. For example, I released a GarageBand version of a song on Instagram and YouTube only, because like I said, it's just a GarageBand version that was inspired by the George Floyd situation. And that day hit me so hard, I didn't even want to watch the video. And I didn't do it for the first 2 days, because I knew that I was going to get nervous and frustrated and maybe cry, which all of that happened. I used to be a big punk rocker in my city, one of a few, and I was always this way. I was always anti-racism and living in a city where there's a lot of it, let me tell you. And so when I moved here, I was very happy to see all of this. But, I went to New Orleans a few years ago to see a concert, and I talked to a few, for example, a cab driver. And they tell me, like, in America, it's still pretty heavy. And this was 4 years ago. So things like George Floyd happens and still happen. So it's time to stop. So all of this played a weird sound in my head. So 3 days after that, I kind of just one day 3 hours, and I put all of it in that tune, and I decided to make a quarantine tribute EP for this situation. So that song you can find on YouTube, and it's Start Things Up.
Start Things Up.
Yeah, obviously I'm not branding the song, and I'm not the profit is absolutely the not even the last thing. I don't even want to profit that, but as an artist, I feel that you should be very honest, and if there's something that you think, you should say it. That's part of freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. And one of the things lately, I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast with Bill Burr. This is super it was released 2 days ago, and Bill Burr says something beautiful, like everybody's got no problem with freedom of speech until they agree with you. If you say something, you know what I mean. So a lot of people texted me about that too. Hey, it's not the time to promote your music. And I'm like, listen, I could be making 100 posts and saying all the same thing, but music speaks louder than any word.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel like, as an artist, if every little thing we do really counts, if you talk to 10 people and you're able to, like you, Scott, I mean, like you, Regine, like the social media, and you can inspire, or you can point young minds into some valid subjects.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful, because it's like the 2-minute rule. It's always better than this person, even if it doesn't mean it, but it's posting something about a positive argument, even if it's doing it for the wrong reason. It's still doing it. Mm-hmm. It's still better than zero.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So as an artist, you got to express yourself, and you should. And I'm talking now to you guys, but to everybody that is listening right now. If you are an artist and you are limiting yourself because of budget, it's a mistake, because the best creations could happen with one mic and one EQ. So I feel this way about this whole situation. I tried to pull my strings on social medias for a while and spread awareness, obviously donating to right causes and all of that, but mostly to me it's the music that makes the difference.
Beautiful. That's an awesome message. I like that a lot. I like how you're saying that artists can reach in a very different way, you know. And I agree. I know I saw a lot of that online where people were kind of shaming each other based on because they didn't like the way that people, you know, chose to support or what they chose to say. Or, I mean, it kind of annoyed me to see that. I mean, I think in a way we're all experiencing something awful, you know. And like I know the same thing sort of happens. Like if you see when, like, say a member of somebody's family passes away, right? And you see how everyone in that family will deal with that tragedy in their own way.
Differently.
You know, yeah, some people, you know, will openly cry. Other people choose to sort of step aside. Other people try to bury their emotions, you know. And I've always thought it's not right to tell people how they should process grief. And I think something like this
Absolutely.
sort of thing that's being felt, not just across, you know, the U.S., but across certainly North America, and I think the world. We're seeing protests and demonstrations across the world. I don't think it's fair to you know, bully people into this is how you should be dealing with it, this is how you should be feeling, or this is how you shouldn't do this, you should do this. I mean, you
absolutely.
know, it doesn't make everything that you do good necessarily or bad, but I think it's important to take people's intentions the right way, or at least understand that everybody's trying to figure out how to navigate this and how to deal with it, you know, emotionally in their own way. Yeah.
Well, it's like
anyway,
it's like
yeah. Yes, Regine.
Sorry, it's like the post that I made on my Instagram page for the Ms. Galaxy. I know, Scott, you liked it a few times. I put a post because there are a lot of Filipinos coming out for being dark-skinned and getting not the same kind of racism and hate as the Black community, but you do get that sense of if you're dark-skinned, I guess you're worth less compared to someone that's of light skin. And I did not want to make a post, but then I felt like I should, and I did, just using my platform in itself, because all these Filipinos are now coming out saying Filipinos for Black Lives Matter, Filipinos for Black Lives Matter. And for me, who has experienced different things based on my skin color versus someone who is lighter, I was like, you know what, let me just post it, because I also was getting conversations behind the scenes from people who are also dark skinned saying, what are your thoughts on skin whitening products, or what are your thoughts on you have to be lighter to be seen as beautiful? And I was like, oh, okay, well, here we go. And after putting that post up, at first I was hesitant, and I know I spoke to my mom, and one of her things is she didn't want people to think that she was one of those people that were giving me grief for my skin color or whatever it might be. So I spoke to Cindy, I spoke to my mom, I was like, okay, should I post this? And getting the positive feedback, I was like, okay, it was a good thing for me to do. And like Scott said, it's scary because you don't know how people are going to react to it. People can either love it, and some people can hate it, and you can get unfollowers because of it, but...
Yes, but does it matter?
No.
One of the things one of the things that I wanted to do, and then I got told to stop or not to, was to just simply post a story saying that whoever is not serious about either following me or liking what I do, why are you here for?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, there are a lot of people, haters or whatnot around, and like we said it before, you know, not all of them come from a good place. I know you, and you definitely didn't post that thing coming from a bad place and taking advantage of a situation like this to drive people on your platform. I know that. So a lot of people don't, and they might assume that, but is it wrong that they do assume that? No. You can really even say, oh, you guys are wrong, because I come from a good place. So at the end of the day, if you feel like doing it, that's all that matters to me. And you you were seeking counsel, so it's beautiful that you went to people that love you, and they told you probably on a fair, they told you a fair kind of comment about it. Anyway, That's the way I feel, and that's the way I did it. Like when I felt like saying something, I would post something, and when I felt I didn't, then I didn't post anything.
And that's
It all
I
comes
think
to what.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no! Just to close, it always comes to what you feel. You should leave. Once you start comparing, and this is another thing that goes back to 3,000 years ago, back to the Greeks and philosophers. If you start comparing, for example, I have two pics right in front of me. Okay.
That's so random.
Yes, absolutely. And I have this pic. Maybe Scott has a different pic. Maybe the Scott's pic is bigger or smaller. So I have no problems with my pic until I care to associate it with Scott's pic. Do you know what I mean? Then I might have a problem. Then I might find that Scott has a longer pick or a smaller pick, and then the other guy has a smaller pick, and then you start comparing, and that's where the problem is. You should feel inspired, but you should never compare. So maybe
He's looking for one.
it's a longer pick. Yeah, definitely that's a longer pick. No, but I mean the point is when you start comparing. Now, for example, did this artist post anything? Did this artist do that? And then you now correct your ways because you feel you have to. To me, that's a mistake. But if you feel inspired by it, and then you come up with a thing, and then you post that, then you're good to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. It should come from yourself, from your heart, what the things that you choose to do. I think that makes sense.
Exactly.
Siggi, have you ever considered...
Oh no, go.
Sorry. Siggi, have you ever considered doing public speaking? Because you're very like in the zone and like very like you hit home really hard.
I really appreciate it. And sometimes I got when I started the YouTube channel, I had a few episodes actually of a thing called the Raise Awareness. And then all of a sudden, I gained a lot of followers on YouTube in a very short amount of time, and I felt that I was onto something. But then that thing was getting away from the music, because there's so many things you need to be caring about when you play music, when you do music in general, or you produce music, that editing is just another thing that you don't want to do. But see, I learned many tricks here and there, and was able to work on the screen, for example. So everything counts. Mm-hmm. So that period of Raise Awareness, I was so into positive messages and entrepreneurs and people of a certain amount of intelligence I would listen to, and people that I didn't feel like they were hitting those spots that were challenging, I didn't listen to. So that's not even fair, because you might have a brilliant person that doesn't really put words the way you want to, and so therefore you don't listen to them, but they might have a beautiful point. So at the end of the day, I kind of stopped that, because it's not about having or not having a PhD. It's about who are you and what kind of people do you follow you. You know what I mean? If I have 4,000 comments and all of them wants to hear what I think about a subject, then I'll do it. I do everything for people they ask more of me, kind of.
Well, I guess you're putting it now into your lyrics rather than your videos, so
exactly.
It works
That's
out.
exactly. Thank you for saying that. That is exactly the point. I kind of switched what looked from the outside a thing that listen to me because I got the best, or whatever image you might have had back then, into let me just focus on what's really important, music, because music is timeless. If you put your stuff on YouTube, you're always gonna have YouTube as boss in a way. If they remove your video, you can do nothing about it. If you do this or that, you always need to listen to some sort of parameters. But I don't feel the same for music. Like you can write anything you want, you can produce it anywhere you want. And
the Eve Center.
Yes, and then the trick is to get a fan base. The trick is to get somebody that follows you. Like for example, whatever you stream live games, Scott. If you keep going like that, which you should, because obviously having fun is the first object. But then you're gonna have a fan base, because because you're not only consistent, but what you do, you love to, right?
Now he does.
So if you, for example, if you don't love making videos on YouTube, then that's already a condemnation, you know what I mean, of yourself, because you're not going to be happy while doing it. You're not in a long run, you're going to be quitting, you know what I mean. But if you do something you love, in my case it's music, then their income or rewards you don't care about. You just care to put the best and make the best music you can. So therefore I don't want to be associated with somebody that has a strong opinion about the way you're supposed to live. You should be reading, you should be listening to this topic, you should be doing this or that. No, you can be anything you want. And if you want to listen to my music, then you'll find out every song has a beat of me. That's it.
But what we should listen to, Siggi, sorry to cut you off, are ads.
Oh, yeah, okay, we should do the ad break. All right, yeah, let's do the ad break and then we'll come back. Once again, everybody, we're here with Siggi Music, and actually Patrick has a question for you, but we'll do it after the ad break. The only thing Patrick did say that is a good way to close off this segment is that everyone has a pick. It's a good metaphor.
Everyone has a pick.
I don't.
Well, you know, it's a metaphor, Regine. It's a metaphor. Today's episode of The Sit Down is brought to you by the following fantastic advertisers. Regine.
Yes, Scott.
Regine.
Yes, Scott.
Do you want to find out what your home is really worth?
Potentially.
Are you buying or selling a home?
Maybe.
Well, then guess what, Regine?
What,
Jennifer
Scott?
C. Jennifer C., realtor at Home Life Culture Link, is here to help. Call or text Jennifer today at 647-403-8887. Don't deal with just anyone. Speak to a professional. Jennifer C. at Home Life Culture Link. To see her current listings, visit homelifeculturelink.com. The Mortgage Godfather is here to give you advice with any mortgage needs you may have, and he will shop to find you the best mortgage. Nino Simeka, mortgage agent. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse.
You
Find
gotta
out
go
more.
with the answer.
Yeah. Find out more at mortgagegodfather.ca or call 905-604-6955. And was brought to you by Jewelry Forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and they change watch batteries, all done on site. And we've got an amazing deal worked out with them, don't we, Regine?
Yes, we do, Scott. If you guys go in when the malls reopen, let them know Scott and Regine sent you, and you will get 15% off your entire purchase.
That's right. Let them know. Tell them Scott and Regine sent you 15% off, 15%. They've got an amazing selection of items. You'll be bound to find something special for the special person on your list.
For Father's Day.
For Father's Day coming up, that's right. So find out more at jewelryforever.ca. And also follow them on Instagram, because I know they just did a Father's Day giveaway on their Instagram. And I think they've got a Canada Day one coming up. And I believe you can join anywhere. Like, you don't have to be like in the Toronto area or whatever. You just got to be following them on Instagram, comment and like on their posts. Jewelry Forever.
And they have amazing watches. I know Greg's in here, so Greg can tell you guys all about his amazing watch he won from us.
Right.
Yep.
That's right. Greg Nagara in the chat did win a watch from Jewelry Forever. Correct. So, check them out, jewelryforever.ca. And also, if you would like to advertise on the show, it's very easy, right, Regine?
Yes, it's so simple, you guys. All you have to do is email us at radioshowad, that's radioshowad@gmail.com.
That's right. And get in touch. It's a very, very great way to advertise. We do the show live. And because it's live, you can customize the ads week to week. If you have a sale or an event coming up at a particular time or place, you can get in touch and we can let your potential client base know. It's a great way to advertise. Get in touch. Radio Show Ad, radioshowad@gmail.com.
plus 15%. It's a beautiful
Hey,
thing.
what?
Well, maybe we'll work that out. I don't know.
Hang
Probably
on,
not.
hang
Maybe,
on.
maybe.
This isn't
Maybe.
jewelry forever.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Don't get ahead of ourselves here.
Oh, and if you guys want your own sit-down mug, because I know a lot of you guys have been asking, Scott, where can they get them?
Oh yeah, might as well. Yeah, get yourself a mug. Get yourself the best mug. Best bug. Get yourself the best mug in the biz at the teespring.com/the sit down mug, and you can sip like a champion. Anyway, we're back.
All right.
We're back with Siggi.
Okay, I know in the beginning we were talking about how many times has Siggi been on the show, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
All right, so let's just say Garson's been on our show now 4 times. He's
Okay.
been to our studio, our old studio twice. He's been to the new studio twice. Siggi
Go.
has been to the old studio twice. He's been to the new studio. No, he's been to the old studio 3 times.
Oh.
He's been to the new studio once, and now he's on our virtual studio. Therefore, Siggi has been on the show for the most number of times.
Oh, there you go.
I'm happy to hear. You know, this
Five
is
5 appearances. There it is. The reigning champion.
yes,
of
I was
guest
saying
appearances.
before. You know what? You know what it makes
He
me
needs a
happy.
mug.
Though? You know what it makes me happy though? That I was there for the very first one,
Mhm.
and also
you are.
Sure, that's right.
that you guys, now that you can go on their YouTube page and subscribe, which you really should because they keep up the content. You shall see the very picture that they have as banner. On the far right, you can see me, and that's the very first episode.
Yeah. There you go.
Over there.
That's why
It
I'm
was
so
there.
happy.
Yeah, you were there from the very, very beginning. Who's in the chat? I just want to make sure. Robin Fife stopped by. Hey, Robin Fife, what's going
Hey,
on?
Robin!
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
Robin,
don't know who
very,
you are, but hey, Robin.
very talented videographer here in Toronto.
Oh.
Who he's been to quite a few of the. He's coming. He films a lot of shows around the city, but he's been to Siggi gigs quite a few times,
Nice.
I should say.
I love the man.
hello,
He's
Robin.
such a passionate in music. And that's what I love about him.
Okay, first off, Siggi, since Scott mentioned some of your shows, I do want to apologize because the one time you actually have a show on a weekend, I didn't go because I just got back from the Philippines. So I'm so sorry.
You don't have to worry. You don't have
I
to
kept
worry.
bothering you. I'm like, when are you gonna do a show on a weekend?
Hey, why?
so
Why do
sorry.
you want to have a show? Why do you want to throw a show on a Saturday night? You crazy?
Yeah.
Could be a
are you
Monday
crazy?
morning.
Are you crazy? Because then we got to do the sit down the next day.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm even talking live shows. That's kind of a mess. I've been actually tried to organize a tour. Obviously, responses are delayed and low in terms of information. They don't know when they can start having either
Yeah.
bands going, whatever you go, if you go around the GTA area. So therefore, I wanted to have a tour. I wanted to kind of throw a tour with another band. It's just a troubled time to organize live gatherings, even though the city slowly is going back to normal. Concerts are you see it yourself now. Lots of people just playing online through webcams, and it's beautiful. It's perfect.
Would you do that?
So, well, I haven't done it yet. I feel good about it. I'm kind of beginning to think of a full show for at least five or 7 songs. Maybe some with the band, either acoustic or. There are lots of ways. Obviously, what we want to do as artists, as musicians, we want to play for people. We want to feel the energy. That's one of the things that obviously is going to take a while to go back to. But at the same token, I've been still thinking about like what you said before. I was an immigrant here. So when I first moved, I didn't even have proper papers. So even though I'm a Caucasian, I've had experience that people don't even understand in a way for being an outsider, even in Toronto. And and so I always had a little bit of not struggle, but to start this thing, because obviously, you know, a new country, new language, new people, new customs, and I always found that the live music brings people together. You're there in a club and you connect, so that's a big part of it. But I always had I call it struggle to kind of start to have a person like Scott. Hey, you know, you do recordings, this and that. So it's been such an evolving path for me that I really didn't have time to really post a lot of music. Up to a year ago, I only had like 5 or 6 tracks out, which is absolutely, it's not enough. You can be writing yesterday, but if it's just one song, you're never gonna have a crowd or a soul, an entire soul. So right now, for me, live music, it's also not that as a priority because of the fact that we're still at home. We still need a few weeks to get used to it or to get back to normal. I really am taking the chance to put out as much music as possible, at least for a new listener to get hooked up. You know, you don't have, if you don't have enough information, then why do you want to follow me on a tour and things like that? So besides growing as a songwriter or as a performer, as a writer, because you have to write music and it's also, you know, not my first language, I still feel that musicians should feel lucky for this space and time that we have to work on these deals and to work on what you want to do next. Do you want to have a full-length album? Do you want to have 2 full-length albums? Do you want to have a tour with what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Scott, you should go back into your music career. No, I'm just kidding.
Why? You are
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's
You've
definitely.
turned gamer.
I know. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what's good is that like the gaming has become my evening, right? So my days are still open for creative endeavors, but right now I'm still working on like I said, my priority now is finish the film because it's so behind. I just want to get it done. And Siggi, like what you were just saying, I think it's right. Like live music for me, that's the most enjoyable part of the music. But the truth is, a large part of being a musician and a songwriter is that alone time of creating those songs, and like there's this whole sort of individual part to it that I guess it makes a lot of sense to use this time to really work on that part while the live part just isn't an option right now.
Yes, I mean, we all know that people want live music. People want, I mean, a gathering of people is just one of the best things, right? So it's inevitable that at some point it's going to come back. Maybe not the same way, maybe a limited version of it. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be a problem to go back to live music when things go back to normal. Now, at the same token, though, I always felt, I want to play, I want to do this, I want to have the best show ever. You know what I mean? You always want to put out the best thing, but you got to be realistic. In my situation, I always said to myself, there's not enough material outside for me to not even expand, because you expand internally, you're always expanding within, and that's the way I am kind of wiring myself. I don't have that urge, and that's because coronavirus. I don't have that urge to go back live right now if what I'm doing live doesn't represent where I am here now.
That's fair.
For example, I now want to, you were saying multi-instrumentalist. I never really showcased that in my social medias. I never really showcased a good bass line or a good keyboard, good colors on a keyboard or things like that. Now I'm beginning to be more inspired by the actual instrument, which is something that we should keep alive. Every instrument has its own universe, and it inspires you on so many levels. And my goal right now is to be mastering guitar, bass, keyboard, drums, and my own voice.
Oh, damn, you don't need your own band anymore.
No, I love these guys. Like, I love them. Like, my goal is to all together to hit the best stages in the world, to travel together, to have fun with the music. And plus, Scott knows. I mean, the band. I've been part of many bands. Okay. And I was always the drummer singing in the back, and I loved that. I really did. I really do love that. But there's a way where you can express yourself with our instruments as well. So when you go, and you limit yourself, I just want to play this instrument, or I just want to master that, that's great. You can do that. But keep in mind that with the right schedule and the right directions, which you can get from even an online course, you can get a hold of different instruments. You can get a hold of a different universe without even realizing it. And the more you're aware of the instruments and the more you're aware of the sound, that's what I'm thinking, the more I'll be able to connect ultimately. You know what I mean? It's not being the best guitar player in the world. It's to get to the point where you think of something and through your technical skills, you can reproduce it right away. You think of something and you are able to do it. To me, that's the most important thing. Then go back to live music, the way that I used to play it before. You know what I mean? And I could never get to study frequencies, EQs, or any of this if it wasn't for COVID. So that's the thing. My body is responding well. My mind is responding well. There's no, you don't have to go to work like you were saying. And, and obviously I'm not saying I'm grateful for COVID. Nobody should say that. But also, if you are able and if you wire yourself to see the good in things, you will be able to see the good in things, no matter what that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we didn't get to choose this situation, but I think it's good that you're like you said, making the best of it, and this is what we are. And I think it's great that you've taken this time to work on yourself and expand your musical horizons. It's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to what's coming down the line. Everybody in the chat, I want to make sure I didn't miss you. Oh, Isaac Linder just woke up. Hello. Hi, Isaac. Welcome. I just woke up as well. Welcome to the show.
I like your dad's comment.
Did you have a question somewhere?
Oh,
yeah,
wait,
that's right.
Mr. Brown
Patrick
said something first.
Oh yeah, so Mike Brown goes, tell Siggi, I guess it's because you've been in the studio so many times, you're gonna have to start paying rent for the studio.
It's plus I'm a guy. I mean, remember when I went to Scott's and we recorded a Beatle cover, and I just did so many takes of that thing, which I couldn't. Yeah, just because you feel like you wanted to get to a certain point, to a certain level of music, and I wasn't really ready for it. So that's part of the thing. You need to be, as an artist, or whatever you're doing, even if you're at a gala and you're walking down nice red carpet, you need to know what you're doing. You can't feed, let me just post something because I haven't posted in a while. That kind of thought, that kind of thinking might really dig you or put you 6 feet on the ground on social media in a way, because you don't need to, and we go back to the other point, you don't need to do anything for nobody. Even you and your movie, the first thing that comes up to mind when you talk about it and I need to finish it, I'm like, don't rush it, because you have one shot with that. I'm sure you know that, but at the same token, you want to be prepared, because the level outside is always going to be higher and lower. And we go back to the comparison thing. You need to be just proud of what you do at the end. To me, the music knowledge in my own self, now it's prevalent, and I'm meaning everything, producing and EQs and frequencies and music and instruments has to be my priority in order for me to have a career. I'm just being objective here. You know what I mean? I'm not a dreamer like that. I was a dreamer when I thought, just a dreamer, when I thought that I could achieve all of this without the work, without pouring the work. and that's
Cool. Patrick Rucker in the chat asked a little while ago, is there, and I'm actually interested in what you'll say because I'm not even sure how I would answer this question. He just asked, what is your favorite piece of music that you've ever produced, if you have a favorite?
Ooh.
Well, I could say two. I have two pieces of music, and one is coming out for the very newish electronic thing that it's called What Are You Waiting For? And I'm kind of producing and co-producing, and there's another guy though involved, which is my bass player. It's Mike Kosov. He's got a beautiful studio at home, and just for fun, we started working on this song, and it came out pretty well. So I'm very excited about it. But I should really answer that the best is yet to come, because because if you think about it, Human Touch is already 2 years old. And I haven't really maximized and finalized that the EP just because I didn't know the way I wanted it to sound. Because if you listen to Truth, everything is acoustic. There's an acoustic drums. Everything is acoustic, no synths. But at the same token, if you listen to Better Man, we are already going to a different universe in terms of sound.
Mm-hmm.
So the beauty of Human Touch to me is that starts with acoustic and slowly goes to an electronic sound. And I didn't know that before, so I didn't want to rush the process of understanding. Also because, studio time costs money and you need to save for it and all of that is life, obviously, and bills, and I've been living, paying rent for many years now. I left home when I was 17, and I lived in Milan, which was the big city there. It's like Toronto of Italy, Milan. Mm-hmm. And I've already struggled for so many years even to make a record. So I'm happy that that people like him is asking what's your best two songs, because I already
best is yet to come.
Exactly. I already have them, but you don't yet. And I'm working towards making the best package possible for you.
I was curious how you were going to answer that, because my answer would be pretty much the same, because I find as an artist, whether it's music or film or videos, for me, I'm always like when I watch, say, like the last film I made or listen to any older songs, I find after a large period of time has gone by, I can kind of hear it just as a song and enjoy it. But most of the time, I just hear stuff that I would make better the next time, So it's like okay, like I look at like Kessler Syndrome was like my first short film. And like I'm very happy with that movie, except when I watch it, I see things in it and I'm like, wow, if I had a chance to make that movie again, I would change this and I would change this, and I know now that I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't, and so I'm planning to kind of make those changes and make those improvements in the next piece, so I'm never able to really enjoy the stuff that I've made because I'm too busy thinking about the next one. So to hear you say that your favorite that you've created is still coming, it's pretty much exactly I'm on the same page, because you're always looking forward. Yeah.
It's beautiful to hear, because if it was the opposite, if both me and you would go on, wait, listen, I'm done, I've arrived, everything, it's perfect, then that wouldn't work either. So it's always good to see that you can make progress, or actually that you already made progress for your next job. And also, I might add that people love to see that. People love to see growth. And that's why they want to support you, because they see that there's dedication and there's hours into it and there's your heart into it. And it kind of, like, for example, if you listen to a song that you made 2 years ago, and now you listen to a song that you made a month ago, you'll hear differences in so many levels, but at the same token, you can see progress, and that's exactly what a fan is looking for. Most of the times, fans are not looking for perfection. You know what I mean? Actually, they despise perfection because it's fake. So you can be really honest with your movies like this and just see progress and enjoy what it was. Devil on My Shoulder, the video we made. It's fantastic. I will still love and appreciate that video so much. First of all, it was our first video, our first interaction with cameras together, I mean, you as editor and all of that. But I will still praise that, even though I listen to it and I'm like, oh, it's old. You know, I know that would sound better now. But at the same token, I'm proud. And I would be a fool to be thinking that could have been better, because YouTube says it. You posted it 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and obviously somebody that is looking at now can get that it's an old thing, and that's the beauty of the whole thing, and it's to grow.
For sure. Robin Fife in the chat says, when I look back, I feel that I could do it better now. That's growth. And that's exactly right.
Yes,
That's
Robin.
exactly right.
I feel you so much. Every time that you're there recording bands, and you, Robin, I'm sure you learn. You know, you're still learning tricks and how to do this better. Oh, this didn't work out. This, and people that follow you, they can't see that progress, and that's the beauty of being a follower. Because you really follow a journey of a person.
So, Siggi, can you say the same thing about the sit down? You're on our first episode and you're on our current episode.
It's like
Can
nine.
you see the difference?
I see the difference. I see not only dedication. I see that the sit down is has got its own soul, its own ways, its own universe.
Soul.
Yeah, it's universe, and that what is ultimately making the difference in terms of revenue and views and all of that. You know, nobody should be doing anything because of the rewards. Rewards are the word itself. It tells me that it's something that it comes if what I'm doing is honest and appreciated. So rewards and money isn't something that we all, you guys, me, anybody, should be basing the project on. You know what I mean? I don't think that Google or Apple started saying, I want to make millions. No, I want to be different. I want to be doing this. And then if that thing is, takes off, and then you're going to have revenues, then you're going to be happier. And ultimately, everything that really it's worth having requires a lot of effort, ultimately. And like I said, I was a foolish thinking that, thinking that the rewards were about to come without that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's part of the journey as well. I mean, when you first set out to do something, you can always look at it, and especially if you're really excited about doing it, it's easy to oversee all of the little stuff you're going to have to do along the way, and there's not really any way for you to realize what's about to come until you actually start walking it, right? So
absolutely.
So I think that's just part of the journey. That's just part.
It's
of
life.
The journey.
It really is life. And the more I see it, the more, even the raise awareness thing. One of the things that I wanted to point out, that the dualism of life, and you say yin and yang and the sun and dark, and I'm learning that with guitars. I mean, there's a jazz guy that I'm taking lessons to called Pat Martino. He's such a legend of the jazz world. And I haven't done anything in jazz in my entire life. I was always afraid. The grown-up music, as I used to call it. And I'm taking jazz lessons from a guy that tells me, there's a augmented and diminished and going up and down. And it's everything is the same. There's a dualism of conscious and unconscious mind, then wrong and right. So we are meant to do wrong things. We are meant to fall. Just because we have to learn how to come back to, stand, to learn how to stand again. So thinking that we're not going to fail, it's foolish. You know what I mean? And thinking that you can do that perfectly. And you know me, Scott, it's like I have 2 or 3 versions of lives that we recorded that I don't have on my YouTube channel because I wasn't happy with the audio or with whatever the reason was. But it's wrong, because according to that philosophy, it's good to grow out of it. and next time it will be better.
Absolutely. Robin in the chat says, I've never been to 2 Siggi shows that were the same. My previous comment was inspired by what you had said all about your growth. That's a good point too, actually. Even the live show, which we haven't done in a while now, but it applies as well, because even I've seen your approach to how we should perform. Like our last few rehearsals before this pandemic hit, a lot of that was crafting the live show, because I know you were you wanted to approach it in a different way. So yeah, that's interesting to hear. It's just a good point from his perspective too. He's never seen a show the same, because it is always changing. You are always trying to craft even how we perform live, right?
I love to hear from both of you. And Robin, I mean, he's got this thing that we cannot see ourselves playing, but he can. So if he says something like that, it fills me up with joy. It's one of the goals. Like if you go to see a band and you don't see that improvement or progression or change that we're talking about, then you're not going to see the next show, and you're gonna lose your faith in it because themselves, I feel, they're not taking as performers as an exhibition, as the way you want to call it. Though, but you're performing, so you're giving something to people, and you need to make sure to keep them on their toe. And that's the way, at least I feel. If you turn on your YouTube and you look at what was the golden age of music, which they say that it was years ago, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, these people were all about giving you the best performance they could in the best way they could, and there was always a progress, like we said. And I see it the same way. I also, now I'm listening so much new music, which I wasn't aware. People like, Jacob Collier or, Daniel Caesar, which is, a Canadian. And you have many artists. You have Corey Henry, Wolfpack. These are all people our age, a little older, but anyway, and also younger. They are playing currently, and these are fantastic musicians. Mm-hmm. Whoever tells me that back in the 70s were better musicians is fool. As they say, as we said, comparison. Like if you cannot take a boxer from the 1800s and compare it to a guy that has many more techniques now, and just the philosophy of boxing to change with the progress of society. You can't compare that. Or you can't compare a football player that used to play in the 70s with a super hard ball and instead of kicking one of the balls now that they just flow, you know what I mean? They just fly away. So we can compare that. And I found I was so old school. I mean, I still am. Didn't have social media forever. I just recently have. Was always into older music, and that I just didn't like the sound of the 80s. But at the same time, there was some of the best songs were written in the 80s, and it's not just the methods where you record the song. It's a whole process with growth. Mm-hmm. And so back to the point, there's so much awesome influence right now in the music business, and somebody says that it's the worst time to be a musician because there's so much to choose from or so many genres. But I tell you that it's beautiful because for the first time ever, we don't have a genre. You know what I mean? We don't have a genre. It could be rock, jazz, and you could have 17 adjectives to describe a genre, which is beautiful and something that was never allowed before. And if it was, then we know the artists as historical figures. So I feel that it's the best way not only to make music, to be very driven, and also because think of yourself in a supermarket. There's a wall and you need one item, but there are 15 brands of that item. It's gonna make you confused for a sec. You know what I mean? So you can't blame artists or people, generally speaking, to be a little in a stalling point, to be a little not even quiet, but to not have a plan, and don't even feel bad about not having a plan, because you are going to get one as soon as you know what you feel like doing, really. So it could be a movie, it could be playing video games, it could be playing a song. Nobody can tell you what your priority is. as long as when you do one thing, you do it right, or at least at the best of your capabilities. So in a way, I am, in my own situation, I am posting less, one can say, on YouTube or whatever, but I don't care about posting quantity if I post quality. And because ultimately somebody that is following me is following the whole journey, doesn't care of I want to be the guy, for example, I'm listening to this podcast, now I want to listen a song, and you go to me. And you know that you can find songs on my YouTube channel, not somebody that speaks on a microphone, because that's not my job. You know what I mean? And even though you can mix the old things up right now, I still feel that we have some of the best freedom to be ourselves than ever.
Yeah, well, I mean, the most, I guess, the biggest change from now to how it used to be was it's the first time that artists can reach directly to an audience, right?
Absolutely.
Like before that, there was always either a label or a studio or something that had to be the middleman, so they kind of chose what goes out there, and like that still exists. There are still major labels, there are still rock stars and pop stars that go through that system, but increasingly now, if you have something to offer, you can just put it out, and people can like it or not, and people can find it or they won't, and you don't have to kind of go through this gatekeeper anymore. You can go that way, but even now, most of the labels now, they're really just like springboards, but they want you to already have done that part and put yourself out there, and all they do is kind of boost the signal. But
yes,
now it's like, it's very much, you want something out there, you can put it out there, and it's there. It's the way we're doing this show. And I mean, again, I've been seeing it, like I said, since I started gaming. A lot of the people in the chat right now are people who have discovered me through playing games, and it's just so cool that I'm putting this thing out there, and it's my personality, and we're having fun and playing these games, and it's just I'm building, I'm saying hi to all these people and meeting all these people, just going straight to them. I'm putting it out there,
it's
and if
just
they like
beautiful.
it, they can watch. Yeah, it's a very cool time to be creating really any type of content. Like again, and you're right, it's tough in that everybody can do it, but I still think if you have something unique and something to offer, you can find an audience.
I totally agree. And you have a lot of potentiality within the social medias, within the platforms that we have now. You don't need to be everywhere. You really don't. Just focus on one to begin, and then let's see where it goes. We have things like Patreon, which was like the CEO of Patreon is a musician. I don't know if you guys know either Patreon or Pamplemousse. Patreon is a free platform where people can support you by paying a coffee for you. For example, they can give you $5 for a month. Each month they are committed to give you $5. That basically pays you less than a coffee in a day, but it's such a huge help for you as an artist. You know what I mean? To have $5 more than don't have $5. What you have to do is to be loyal to them. What you have to do is obviously to put yourself out there, to give them things that you wouldn't post anywhere else, for example. But I mean, a thing like Patreon, which is free, raised over $60 million for musicians.
Wow.
Do you think that labels wouldn't get a percentage of the money? Or today we have things like Spotify and the Joe Rogan podcast. If you think about it, now Spotify started as a platform, obviously, to listen music only. Now they have podcasts. So what really matters for the market is exclusivity, like exclusive. For example, now as Spotify, I can sign you for 2 years, and you need to create 2 albums, but they are only available on Spotify. It's a huge change, and nobody's really understanding how big this thing is for music, because now people like Joe Rogan, which are non-musicians, are the most listened people on Spotify. Drake, for example, has like 30 billion streams, but Joe Rogan has like 100 billion. You know what I mean? Something like crazy. And you were talking about labels. I think that labels are afraid now because Spotify offers you the chance to put your music there without having the third party. And so maybe, who knows, but because of this thing, because of what Joe Rogan did, maybe we're gonna get to, maybe in 3 years from now, Spotify will be the one paying for your tours, will be the one paying for your exclusivity. You know what I mean? So we are into really, really interesting times right now, because the power for music is going to switch. Now, the power was always in the hands of labels, but now streaming systems are getting there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So even there, like you only, the only thing you have to do is to have a distributor and put your music there. This was never allowed before.
Yeah,
so
well, that's the thing. I mean, this show, like people right now, you might be listening to this on Spotify, and there it is. It's out there, and like suddenly, exactly, and you know, the streaming services have kind of replaced radio in that way as well. So it's like you're more likely now to be heard on something like Spotify, which any artist can access, than you could have before. It's pretty amazing. Voivoda Burke 16 watching on DLive. Hello. Hey. Voivoda Burke 16. Hello, welcome. This is the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. It's our weekly talk show, and right now we're interviewing singer, songwriter, artist, Siggi Music. And so any of you guys who are watching, if you have any questions for Siggi, please let us know. Oh, Robin Fife, I think when we were talking about, when you were saying what genre that we play and how we don't have genres anymore, he mentioned, I call it funky country. So I don't know if that's what he calls your music.
I like funky country.
I love it.
There you go.
Yes.
Well,
No, I just love that you can objectively name anything that passes through your ears the way you want it. And as an artist, I am not recluse. Like, I'm not just in a box where I only play blues or I only play this or that. So it's fantastic. I never heard of funky country though. So Robin, thank you for that. I might include it.
That's actually interesting. I can hear funky country.
Patrick agrees. Patrick Rucker says, "Yeah, funky country boys." Yeah, that could be a band. That could be a band name right there. The Funky Country Boys.
A live session.
There you go.
Yep. Okay, so outside of music, what are other things that you found yourself doing? Is there anything? I mean, obviously we're all going through this different time, so obviously there are a lot of things that are different. But what are some things that you've noticed that you have to do, or that you've been doing in your own life that you weren't doing before this happened? Like, how has your life really been changed? Are there new habits you've taken on? What's different now?
Well, the first 2-3 weeks were challenging because you basically were on a vacation, imposed vacation. So I didn't, but not a lot of people probably did use those first weeks in a very useful way. But at the same time, I feel that I'm cooking more. That really changed because I used to have one meal at home, because I used to work and so I would take care of lunch, for example. But now I'm cooking more, so my interest in cooking healthy meals has increased a lot. And that's a thing too. I mean, diet and take care of yourself is always the first priority. And sometimes we let it pass because our bodies are strong until a point, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But we are. I call the human beings like a miracle. I compare a human body as the earth itself, where you have. Yeah, think about it. The earth has 70% of water, which is exactly what we have inside. It's made of rocks, which you can think of our skeleton, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Our skull and bones. And, life is, every particle of ourselves is alive. So I feel that...
You just got so deep.
No, but that's the thing. One suggestion that really works for me, even though you didn't ask for suggestions, but one of the things that really changed... and put it in that way, that change is the fact that I'm more aware of either what I eat or what I do with my time, because time it doesn't come back at the end of the day, and if you make the most so maybe this quarantine gave me more insights of how to use my time properly. If you wake up in the morning, for example, I've been waking up around 7:30 every morning, just to keep myself in that mentality of, oh, things are going back to normal, so it's good that I don't develop bad habits. But I did that.
That's true.
Yeah, but I did that too, because it's inevitable. When you have free time, we tend to get lazy as human beings. We tend to kind of be lazy in a way when we have time. But at the same token, we are creatures of habits, and that, to me, is really worth to keep in mind, because everything that you do and repeat, you are going to fall in that habit. It could be, I have to wake up in the morning and play guitar, and then you do that when you want to do it and when you don't want to do it, and so you're gonna find yourself that when you don't want to do it, you really don't want to do it, and you're not gonna try it. So even forced habits are not good. I think that discipline is the thing that really, really makes a difference. For example, you want to be productive. You wake up in the morning, you have 2 hours where you want to be productive. It doesn't have to be guitar. You can be productive with either a keyboard, or you can be productive just messing around with the software. As long as you use the 2 hours, but do what you love to do. Give yourself some slack. Like I said, you don't want to start working out by working out all of your body for 3 hours, because then the very next day or the 2 days after, you're not going to want to do it, because we tend to be lazy. So you're thinking of the amount of work you have to do, and that takes away your willpower. So one of the things I'm developing is willpower. Believe me, because I'm a lazy guy. Everybody is in a way, and I just not even force myself, but my willpower overcomes laziness. Let's put it that way. And that's my job. As a conscious person, I know that the body has its own things, the mind has its own universe, but as me conscious, I want to unify the two things at all times. For example, when we are out or we're inside, that, for example, you go on tour, you're not in your city, you're not in your home, but then you're still gonna wake up at 7:30 because you want to keep that mindset. You know what I mean? You want to keep things the way they are, under your control. So that's one thing that changed, because the first 2 or 3 weeks I was just happy to be home in a way. You know what I mean? Because I had to work every day for basically my entire life. So not having that kind of pressure was great. Yep. But after 2 or 3 weeks, I told myself, what am I doing? What is this? You know what I mean? If the world stops, it's a good enough reason for you to keep moving. And if the world moves, it's a good reason for you to stop. Yeah, I always go kind of the opposite way.
But no, but that
I gotta say, sorry, Reggie.
No, that's all I had to say.
Cool. What I was gonna say, I am finding just even this conversation, Siggi, I'm finding it very inspiring, because one thing I've mentioned it on the show in the past is that this time the biggest struggle I've had has been that keeping myself, I don't know, motivated isn't the right word, but it's sort of just,
he's lazy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what it is I feel sluggish. Like, you feel very, I find it just takes me longer to like get moving in things. And hearing you talk about it, especially, in fact, actually, Robin Fife just commented, and this is very fitting. He goes, I was only going to listen for 2 minutes. The 2-minute rule works.
I love it, Robin. That's fantastic. It really works for me. So there's no way around it. Like, everything, we are wired in a way that, like you were saying before, everybody processes grief in a way, but we process life in a total different way. Your ears listens to frequencies that I don't listen to, and you might love one thing and I might despise that thing, and that's beautiful. You know, like we said before, freedom of speech until you say something that I don't agree with. That's still freedom of speech. You know what I mean? And there's no cure for that. But believe me, Scott, if you integrate 10 minutes of workout, physical workout, because I'm sure you do a lot of work here. But if you feed your body, you're gonna have enough energies, and that's the thing. The 2 minute rule. You start with 2 push-ups. It's already going to lift your day and your energies so much.
I'll send you the 10-minute workout video, Scott.
No, but there are so
All right,
many.
good idea.
There's so much talent out there, and we can learn from each other. That's the thing. Create, don't hate. It's kind of a cliche, right? But creating is going to make you more secure of yourself, and that what really means. That is what it means, because once you're a little less insecure, you can take the success of others. You know what I mean? When you're acting lazy within yourself, and you're scrolling and you see somebody that is doing something good, your first hint is to either swipe it or just get it out of your sight, so at least you don't think of it. But that's still because we tend to compare. So this coronavirus has given me some insights into look at inside myself, to understand what flaws or what strength I have. And that's the most useful thing, because once I am, as a person, as a human being, I'm a little more secure of either my skills or my art, then I can take the success of others and I can start wishing them the best with my own really meaning it. And and I am, well, if you think that doesn't require effort, you're wrong. Everything, even courage, requires you trying and really being more courageous. Is going to make you more courageous. If you tend to forget things and you tell yourself that you do forget things, you're not going to rehearse your memory. And so practice your memory if you want more memory. Be courageous if you want to develop courageousness. And if you want to become anything you want, really, that applies to you. So it's a beautiful path, I think, to be living. And there's so much grief and hatred out there that I want zero part of it. You know what I mean? I love that Rob and Greg and other people are watching this because of you guys. Because I used to have people on my podcast, but I didn't have the stamina or strength to pursue that because I was leaving music behind. But see you guys do this, and even Regine, like, you might not be in the music industry, but you are an artist in your ways. So I'm sure that even discussions like this will benefit your next move. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Siggi, you encouraged me to start a YouTube channel, so I guess.
Such a
That's
beautiful.
You have your ways, Siggi. You have your ways.
And I love to hear it, and I wish you the best, and you know that. I'm sorry if I wasn't that present early on.
Yeah, you're all like, oh, you should start a YouTube channel, and I'm like, yeah, you'll be one of my first collabs, and you disappeared.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, gee. No, but that applied to everybody. Actually, I had to post a story where, hey guys, I'm alive, don't worry. because I really took the time for myself.
Which is good.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. I want to shout out to some people in the chat who showed up. Dreaming Dino, I made it. Hello, Dreaming Dino. This is the first time. Yeah, Dreaming Dino lives on the West Coast, so 11 a.m. is actually 8 a.m. for her. So I know she said in the past that she wanted to tune in, but she's finally made it. So hello, Dreaming Dino. Welcome to the show. This is the sit down. We're here with singer-songwriter Siggi Music, and also Isaac Linder is still here. Hello, Isaac. I'm glad you're still here. Welcome. Patrick is still here as well. And Robin Fife says, I was going out for a walk and I'm still sitting here.
No,
he's still tuning into the show.
It's fantastic.
Appreciate all you guys.
Yes, really do. And there's really not much else to say but take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Not even that you ask for it, but I apply that. I apply that into my own life, and I see, even if it's 0.01 progress, it is progress. You know what I mean? that applies to everything. Like we might have had this conversation 3 years ago and have nobody watching us, and that would have been fine. You know what I mean? Because we were having a good time. But the fact that you have people staying and listening to us, it's a beautiful way to communicate with all this technology that we use. And I really appreciate you guys calling me over and being here with you and promoting the song.
5 times now. 5 times.
5 times.
5 times. That's right. That's right. Dreaming Dino says, hello, Siggi and Regine.
Hey.
Here, wave to them now. Now they can see you. Wave to
Oh,
them.
fantastic. Yeah.
And yeah, Patrick says, yes, I'm still here. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, guys, this was an awesome chat. I got to say, I really enjoyed it.
Same.
And I got to say, it really does... it was inspiring for me here. Hearing the stuff you said, it's just like even I'm always trying to keep myself motivated and keep myself moving, but I do find like a conversation like this, it's kind of like a little bit of, I don't know, an extra bit of fuel, to keep the engine burning type thing. It's just, I find it's just helpful to hear somebody else who's motivated kind of talk. It kind of boosts me. I feel like I've been boosted up in a way.
I love to hear, man.
Great.
It comes out of love, really. I'm happy to see you going. I'm happy that all of the potential, it's still there. And for the both of you, I mean, I always told you, like, you have your hands in so many things. And the fact that you can pursue them, I'm sure it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? Because I experience that sometimes when you have 3 songs and you're working on the same time, it's not going to work out. You know what I mean? You gotta kind of space your time, give yourself some slack and all of that. But it all comes out of love, really. And I don't only wish you the best, but I know that things are going to get well and awesome for either for the 3 of us or for all of the people that really do put the work in. And it's good to be motivated. It's good to stay motivated, but it's even way better to let somebody motivate you, which it's not my case because it's reciprocal here. I just speak my mind. You know me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I feel like, we motivate each other. I think that's what's cool about it is, the thing they say, it's like you're always, I can't remember. You're like the product of like the 5 people you like surround yourself with the most. I know that's a thing that people say.
That's who you become. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's I think it's good to, I just find when I speak with other artists and people who are kind of on a similar journey that I'm on, it's just, we motivate each other. It's good. Zach Attack. Hi, sorry I'm late. Hi, Zach. Yeah, we are wrapping up the show, but I'm glad you made it. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here with Siggi Music, singer and songwriter. Hello. Hi, Zach. And but yeah, Siggi, I gotta say this was a lot of fun. I'm glad. I gotta say, we play together in a band, but we're also friends. So I miss you. It's been tough not being able to see each other and hanging out. So it was nice to catch up.
You, Siggi.
Yeah.
You guys are lovely though, and thank you, Scott. It's reciprocal, 100%.
Awesome. Oh, great. And Zach Attack says he's leaving a like. Thank you guys. Yeah, all of you. Smash the like button on the video. Subscribe. Yeah. And also, while we're on the topic of liking and subscribing, Siggi, where can people find you?
You guys, it only takes to type Siggi Music on Google Research or whatever engine of research, and things are gonna come out. I now change it into Siggi Music, and slowly it's going to go everywhere, even Spotify. Spotify, as it is right now, it's still under Siggi, but if you type Siggi, I'll come out as first, so that's good. There's no Iceland guy there from for yogurt. At least
no yogurt
Spotify.
Posted on Spotify. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Siggi Music. I know I've got your Instagram there underneath your name, underneath your picture there, and also in the description down below, I've got a link to your YouTube channel as well as to the screen video. So people go watch his new video, the music. Zach Attack asks, what kind of music do you do, Siggi? Okay, why don't you tell him quickly what kind of music do you do?
Well, according to Robin, it's funky country. No, it's a mixture. I mean, I love. It's been at least 12 years since I kind of really incorporated African American influences in my music. This was back when I was in Italy. I used to be a punk rocker, but my love for music just grew, and punk was a little confined for me. I still love that kind of genre. I love everything that really it's good and there's passion on it. I really like everything that is groovy, they say. So you're gonna find some blues, funk, R&B, soul, electronic influences, a little bit of jazz with the new upcoming tunes. As it is right now, what you find it's all the songs are part of either My Way Around EP and the upcoming Human Touch. And you're gonna find that a little more funkier, a little more soul, but it's going to R&B. It's going to really incorporate these genres that are African American based genres, which I couldn't live without. Let me be honest. Plus, I have an incurved. I will have a challenge at one day, at one point, to have the. This is handmade from a girl from Italy that works with wood, and this is the cover of Human Touch, and I will include that with one vinyl for a getaway or giveaway soon enough. Anyway, so
Beautiful.
Stay tuned and mostly click to the songs, like the songs, and share the songs. That's the entirety of my own self in there.
Awesome. So I put the link, like I said, Zach, and everybody listening, I put the links to Siggi's music, or to his YouTube channel. You can see a lot of his videos. You can hear the music in there. And also follow him on Instagram. And just,
Happy birthday, Zach Attack.
follow.
Sorry.
Hey,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Birthday.
Yes, that's right. Zach, I remember he mentioned that on, he was in the live stream on Friday night, and he did mention that his birthday was in 2 days. Zach Attack. Happy birthday, Zach. I'm glad you made it. I'm really glad you were able to tune in. Yeah, thank you for reminding us. That's right. You did tell us that. And, Sunday, happy birthday. All right, Regine, where can people find you?
You guys can find me now on YouTube, thanks to Siggi and Scott, actually. I know Scott put the link in the description below, so make sure you guys go like my videos and subscribe. And you guys can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Regine Alaina. And if you would like to follow my pageant journey, which has now been extended for another year, you guys should follow me at Ms. Galaxy Canada on Instagram and Facebook. Where can they find you, Scott?
Well, you can find me right here where you're watching this very show. So that's on YouTube, youtube.com/ScottDionBrown. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ScottDionBrown, and dlive.tv/ScottDionBrown. And not only do I do this show every Sunday with Regine and a wonderful guest, today being Siggi Music, Monday to Friday now I've been doing gaming content. And I know a bunch of you guys are fellow gamers. We've been playing Brawlhalla, we've been playing Mega Man 11, we've been playing other games as well. It's been an amazing new way to interact with you guys, so I really like it. And next stream will be tomorrow night, Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to play some Brawlhalla, and it just keeps going, people. And also, of course, you can find me there, but also find me here on Instagram and Twitter on Scott Dion Brown. Join the Discord server. The Discord server is growing. Link in the description for the Discord server. And also TikTok, which I'm brand new to. I've only posted 2 things. Scott Dion Brown Official. Find me on TikTok because somebody stole Scott Dion Brown. They haven't even posted anything on it. They just parked the name, so I can't even be Scott Dion Brown on it is the way I'm on every other thing. But other Scott Dion Brown Official. Oh yeah, Zach Attack. That's right. Zach Attack knows the math. He posted a meme, and he was in the live stream. He kept doing the emote where you're calculating the math. Anyway, Zach, I'm glad you made it. And Josh K made it as well. Welcome to the stream, Josh. How are you? We're just wrapping up the show here, but I'm glad you made it. This is the sit down, and we're here with Siggi Music. Siggi, any last thoughts, last words, things to leave the people with?
Yeah, I mean, we discussed a few things here with not only like, we're friends. But guys, if you go back to and you rewind this whole thing, you can get some insights. Well, the only thing that I want to say really is, and it might sound like a cliche, but I don't mean it as a cliche because it's something that you really need to pay attention, is to take care of yourself, which doesn't only imply to wash your hands and things like that. Whatever is happening all around, it's very important and it's going to affect all of us. It's a very good opportunity to get more knowledgeable about things we don't know, and to care, because care is key. not only on what we're doing here, what we do in our careers, but our fellow humans, and to have a little bit of concern when it comes to taking a decision or doing something about a topic. So just take care of yourself, and that means your own self and your loved ones, because that really what matters. Okay, and maybe listen to the songs if you like them.
Look at it.
Beautiful. Regine, do you have any final words to say on the show here today?
I do. I totally forgot, but it is Philippine Heritage Month in the city of Toronto, and we just celebrated 122 years of Philippine independence. So I know that there are Filipinos that do watch, hence Scott and I being Filipino. So to all of you celebrating, happy Independence Day.
Yay!
Hey, happy Independence Day to all of our fellow Filipinos tuning in. That's right, we do have quite a few people who tune in from the Philippines, so thank you for tuning in. My final thoughts today, it's funny because we don't really usually even do final thoughts.
No.
I just said it.
And now we went for it.
Yeah, but I think just to piggyback on what you said, Siggi, taking care of yourself, I like that a lot. Especially during these times, it's it's a crazy time, and I think there's a lot of reason to feel sad or hopeless or just despair, and I think especially because we're supposed to isolate, and there are a lot of people who might be even isolating alone, and so it's easy to feel lonely and it's easy to feel hopeless. Just remember, we are, even though we have to be sort of physically apart, we're not alone. We are all going through this, even these hard times. All the good people that are out in the world and all the people that or maybe you haven't spoken to or heard from in a while, they're all still there. We're all just going through this thing together. And I've seen it as through live streaming, even Monday to Fridays with you guys. There's still a lot of people want to connect and talk and interact with each other. And I think it's important to, take care of yourself and remember that you're not alone. You're not going through this stuff on your own. I just think it's important to remember that, especially it just seems like we're going through a dark time. But I do think there's a lot of, hope out there still.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it just feels, I don't know, as I'm saying it feels a bit cheesy, but I am serious. It really does. I just think it's don't forget that. Oops, I just kicked my camera. Don't forget that. We're all in this together, people. We're all in this together. Patrick Rucker says we are all family. Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Patrick. Fantastic comment. We really are. We really are. We come from the same place. We experience the same things, just on different levels. There should be a lots of. I feel that change is actually in the air. These periods more than ever, and that just fills me up with joy. And like you said, hope is what we can really do, but also our little gestures daily towards other people and towards how we treat our craft. So awesome.
Exactly. Well, I think that's beautiful. Zacatech says don't go, but we are going to wrap things up, Zach, because it's been 2 hours. Wow, this is a 2-hour episode.
I mean, it's great that every time that I come over and we have this conversation, we can go over and over for like hours and hours without even noticing.
Lots to talk about, lots to keep on rolling. So it's been great. And guys, next stream I'll be on tomorrow night, Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tune in for more fun. We'll be playing some games. And this was a great episode. I got to say, it was a really, really fun episode. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. You could have gone anywhere on the internet. You couldn't go anywhere outside, but you could have gone anywhere in the world online, and you chose to spend your Sunday morning with us. And I'm so grateful. And we'll see you guys in a week, another Sunday morning at 11 a.m. For the next episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. And but until then, we will say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Oh, wait, there we go. Bye.